Hello friends, welcome to Abhinav Goswami Law Classes. So friends, in this video, we are going to discuss section 29 of Indian Evidence Act, a very important and very interesting section because you will think that these are the category of confessions which should not be admitted in court of law because of the normal understanding that we have of human behavior, but these are a few circumstances. Section 29 provides for a few circumstances where those admissions, though caused by deception or though given on the basis of no faith, they are also admissible against such persons. Okay, so we will move to section 29 and I will try to explain each and everything to you. Please open section 29, friends. Section 29 provides confession otherwise relevant not to become irrelevant because of promise of secrecy, etc. If such a confession is otherwise relevant, it does not become irrelevant merely because it was made under a promise of secrecy or in consequence of a deception practiced on the accused person for the purpose of obtaining it, or when he was drunk, or when it was made in answer to questions which he need not have answered, and whatever may have been the form of those questions, because he was not warned that he was not bound to make such confession and that evidence of it might be given against him. Okay, so friends, all these circumstances that section 29 is talking about are those circumstances where the accused person is not aware that what I am saying can actually be used in a court of law against me. Okay, it is providing for such circumstances. So friends, before going into section 29, we must understand one thing: why there was need of section 29. So friends, see what is more important. Is it more important that there should be all these oral agreements, or these normal courtesy of human behavior should be entertained or should be respected, or we should try to catch the offenders so as to restrict crimes against society, so as to punish the right offender, so as to bring justice to the victim party? What is more important? Obviously the latter. So for taking into consideration all these facts, it was thought necessary that a few circumstances may be provided where, though it may appear that accused something wrong has been done to the accused person while that confession was taken before from him, but still, because of the importance of the confession, because of its importance to the case, so as to punish that person who has done wrong, they are tend to be admitted by the court of law. It is balance of concerns. Okay, so section 29 is simply providing that if such a confession is otherwise relevant, so you need to understand first thing that though section 29 is providing for a few circumstances, even after them those confession will be admissible, but the first criteria that that confession has to satisfy is that it must be a relevant confession. What it means? It must not be prohibited by any other section of this Indian Evidence Act or is this part of confession. So for example, it must not be such a confession which is caused by inducement, threat or promise. It must not be such a confession which is given to a police officer. It must not be such a confession which is given in police custody. Okay, so this confession in itself independently, first requirement is it must be a relevant confession, admissible confession. Only then these other circumstances will not hinder its relevancy. Okay, and what are the circumstances that we will try to look? It does not become relevant merely because first circumstance, it was made under a promise of secrecy. What is promise of secrecy? For example, accused person has confessed something to B on promise of secrecy. What it means that A and B had understanding that B will not disclose what A is going to say about the crime, about the offense. Okay, so there was an understanding. So if now B violates, whoever B is a third party or B is a public officer, whatever, If B violates this promise of secrecy and presents this statement as confession of the accused, then it is not prohibited. Though it is in violation of promise of secrecy, though it is in violation of the understanding that A and B had, but still it is admissible because of the, I told you, because of the concerns of legal system. The second circumstance, in consequence of a deception practiced on the accused person for the purpose of obtaining it. So, for example, that in order to obtain a confession from the accused person, a deception was practiced on him. For example, A is the accused person, B is an independent person. B told A that your mother has died, for example. Okay, so the question was whether A has committed his father or not. So he became emotional, he started talking about this, and he confessed that I killed my father only to save my mother, and now my mother has died. Okay, so this statement came out of the mouth of A because of the deception. The mother has not died, it was only a deception. So this confession, though it was caused by deception, is still admissible by section 29. What is the third circumstances? That when that statement is made, when that confession is made, the accused person was drunk. So this is, we all know that when a particular person is drunk, he tries to say what he actually feels. So if a particular person, if an accused person confesses something while he is in the influence of alcohol, that statement is also relevant. But there is a problem with such statements. So as far as the statements which are given in influence of alcohol, we need to, test its veracity, because influence because the influence of alcohol may affect the mental faculties of the accused person. So he may be saying something which he had not done at all. It is because of the influence of alcohol. So we cannot completely rely on that statement, but still it is an admissible statement, and it is for the court of law to decide how effective it is, how relevant it is, and how much reliance can be placed on such a statement. Okay, but the rule is that such statements are admissible. This is a third circumstance. The fourth circumstance is that a few questions is being asked to the accused person. So we all know that the accused person, okay, he, when a particular person is arrested by the police officer, the accused person is not bound to answer any of the questions, right? So if, for example, A is not aware of such a rule, and people are asking him questions, media people are asking him questions, third persons are asking him questions, then if he responds to those questions, okay, then those statements, though he was not bound to give such statements, those statements become admissible in a court of law. And it does not matter what was the form of question. So they may be leading questions. For example, uh, you killed your mother, right? You killed your mother. So this is a question, this is a leading question. So in response to that, if the accused person says, yes, I killed my mother, that that answer amounts to confession, relevant under section 29. Though the accused person was not bound to answer that question, though the form of the question was leading in nature, okay, even then such a statement may amount to confession and relevant under section 29. So what are the four circumstances that we came to know about under section 29? Promise of secrecy, deception, alcohol, and finally answers to the question which he is not bound to answer. So in these four circumstances, even though there is an understanding between A and B, or A is not aware about it, all those statements are admissible as evidence of confessions, okay, and they may be relied on. So that is why section 29 is so relevant. But again, I will repeat again, that the first requirement that such a confession has to satisfy is that it is not prohibited by any other section of this part. Okay, once it satisfies those conditions, then the statement given under such any of such four circumstances become admissible and relevant under section 29. So friends, this was our discussion on section 29. So friends, I hope you understood what I was trying to say. So friends, if you want to appreciate my efforts, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and connect with me on Telegram. The invitation link to my group is in description to the video. Until then, friends, be safe, be happy. Bye bye.